Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Run in the Paint recap. Today is Thursday, November 21st, meaning that last night, Wednesday night, there were a lot of games going on. We had 8 games last night in the association, a lot of big individual performances, and some unfortunate injury news that we will go over later on. So before we get into all these games, as I always say before these episodes, check out the description down below. There will be timestamps for all these games if you want to hear your favorite team get talked about. I usually go through these teams and through these games in order of when they started. So usually those Western Conference games we will get to later on in the video. But leave a like if you guys enjoy this one. Always love doing these recap videos for you guys. First game of the night, national TV between two Central Division foes, the Chicago Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Bucks, thanks to a big run in the fourth quarter, came up with the 122-106 victory. And that fourth quarter run was led by the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. 41 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. He was spectacular once again for the Milwaukee Bucks, just making it happen near the end of this game. In the first quarter, the Bucks really made an asserted effort to try to get everyone involved, and that was something that was good to see. Brook Lopez got it going early inside. Giannis with his drives to the basket. Damian Lillard with some step backs. He's still trying to shake off some rust after missing a few games due to the concussion protocol. But really, this game came down to, in the end, just the fourth quarter, the Bucks having the better players in the fourth. This did not go like it did the first time these two teams met the first week of the season when the Bulls beat the Bucks in Milwaukee. But the Bulls were in it. Even though their star players weren't really playing the best besides Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine was doing his thing efficiently. He had 27 points, 9 of 15 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. Other guys weren't really that efficient besides some role players. Torrey Craig had a big game starting for Patrick Williams, who missed this one. But in the fourth quarter of this game, despite the Bulls not really shooting the best, they were right in it. This game was a 2-point differential with 8 minutes to go. Julian Phillips made a 3 to make it 104-102. Then the Bucks went on a run. Damian Lillard made a step-back jumper. Then off of some good defense from the Bucks, a.k.a. kind of leaving the non-shooter for the Bulls open for 3, Josh Giddey. Giddey missed a bunch of open looks from downtown in this game, and he's been very cold, let's just say, after a pretty hot start to the season for Josh Giddey. He has gone very cold from three-point land, not really making a whole lot of threes. But then on the offensive end for the Bucks, the thing was basically just give Giannis the basketball. He's going to make something happen, whether it's driving to the basket for himself, scoring, for making plays for other guys. Like Damian Lillard and Brook Lopez both got open spot-up threes off of Giannis drives. AJ Green got a good look on a corner 3 in this game as well, off of a nice play from Giannis when he drove inside. Ball was knocked away. It was kind of a broken play that turned into open 3 for AJ Green, who's been shooting the lights out from downtown. But the Bucks just really dominated at the end of this game. They were able to get stops defensively because they were forcing the Bulls to take shots that, the Bucks wanted them to take. So this game finishes with a 16-point victory there. So just a good overall victory for the for the Milwaukee Bucks, against the Bulls. Giannis just doing his thing, man. 41, 9, and 8, efficient from the field, 17 for 24. Still, struggling from the line as he normally does, but very encouraging to see the last few games. Something that has stood out to me has been the play of Brook Lopez. He's been having some good scoring games over the last few years. Kind of been on and off, but I remember he had the 27 in the 1-point win against Houston to lead the team in scoring, I believe, in that game. And then had a massive game in the win against the Pistons when Giannis went for nearly 60 in that game. But Brook had 27, 29 points. And then this game, obviously, scores, 21 points as well, has a good scoring game there as well. It's just so important when you can have that third guy there in that starting lineup, especially in a game where 2 of your starters did not score. Taurean Prince and Andre Jackson did not score. Of course, Jackson out there more for his athleticism and his defense. But overall, good solid win for the Milwaukee Bucks, getting back in the win column here. They've won now 4 of their last 5 games here, looking to get back into things in the Eastern Conference. Next game of the night. This is going to be a quick one. The Cleveland Cavaliers disposed of the New Orleans Pelicans in a game where 15 players missed the game. Yes, 15 players. We already know about the Pelicans. They missed 9 players in this one. It's just been such a rough time for them, being so injured in these situations and playing on the second night of a back-to-back when they just got crushed by Dallas. But Cleveland got the victory 128-100. They're now 16-1. They bounced back after their first loss in Boston. But the leaders there for the Cavs, a little different than you would normally get. And that's interesting because 3 of the core 4 did play. Darius Garland missed this one due to groin soreness. I'm assuming it's also for rest because they've been putting a lot on his shoulders so far this season. But Mitchell, Mobley, Allen all played. Didn't have to play a whole lot of minutes. Great game for the Cavaliers to be able to showcase some of their depth. And Ty Jerome, really the main story of this game. Oh my goodness. Had a career high 29 points. 27 of which came in the first half, 20 of them in the second quarter, and just went on an absolute tear from the three-point line in that second quarter. Had 6 threes in the second quarter, and all were good looks, and it just became like it just became the game of get Ty Jerome the ball, let him come down and shoot it, and most of the time it's going in. It really was a spectacular game for Ty Jerome, who continues to be one of the more improved players in the league. He's looked incredible. He's been efficient. He has just been awesome. As a Cavs fan, it's awesome to see. A little worried that he's kind of playing himself out of the price line that the Cavs could afford to get him to next season. So basically, I'm saying for Cavs fans, enjoy this while you can, because Ty Jerome we may not be able to afford Ty Jerome next season because of how amazing he's been playing. But for this season, definitely going to enjoy it as much as we can. And then even like some of the role guys, like the rookie, Jalen Tyson. I've been waiting for him to get some rotational minutes. He started in this game and was 3 assists from a triple-double. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. He just has a knack for the ball. Just seems like a great complimentary player, can do a little of everything. Not super great at anything, but very good at basically everything on the floor. And that's the type of player you need to complement a team with a lot of other great pieces. And he obviously hasn't been able to get a lot of opportunities like some other rookies have, because this Cavs team is just so deep. Gets his first real opportunity and plays very well there. George Niang with 20 off the bench. Luke Travers got a lot of minutes. Craig Porter. Just a good game for all those guys to showcase what they can do. And for the Pelicans, Antonio Reeves coming off the bench and lighting it up with 34 points, just firing away. Played a whole lot of minutes, played nearly 40 minutes off the bench. And even the veteran, Elfrid Payton, who had just signed hours before the game, started in this game and had 11 points, 5 boards, 8 assists. He is a veteran, Elfrid Payton there, and they need bodies to kind of fill those positions there. I'm actually curious, when is the last time that Elfrid Payton has played in a basketball game? Because I know he did play for the Pelicans in the preseason, but I'm going to assume, I think it's the Suns back in 2020. Yes, my goodness. So this was his first game since he played for the Phoenix Suns back in the 21-22 season, since that crazy game 7 lost to Dallas when they lost by a whole bunch of points. And we actually might even get into that kind of game a little bit later. I actually want to look, how long ago was this game? This was on May 15th, 2022. So how long ago was May 15th, 2022? 920 days. This was his first game in 920 days. That is incredible. But, still a solid veteran. He's played with the Pelicans before, so getting in there and, Pelicans, it's just been a tough season for them with their injuries. Cleveland now finally is able to rest a little bit. They're now 16-1 through 17 games, which is still incredible. And they played all 17 games in 28 days. This is the most games played by any team in the league. And this is the first time all season coming up that they're going to have 2 days of rest before they go back at it against Toronto on Sunday. Then they have another 2 days of rest. So they finally get a chance to rest a little bit, and they deserve it, man, because they've been playing some historic basketball as of late. Really the whole season. It really has been incredible to watch. Now moving over to the Western Conference. Let's start with the big headline matchup of the Western Conference. from last night. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Memphis Grizzlies. Sixers obviously desperate for a victory. They've had a very rough season so far with injuries, just disappointing play, just across the board. It's just been a rough season there for the Sixers. But there was some bright news before the game. Tyrese Maxey returned to the lineup in this game. So for the first time, we got to see the Sixers' big three of Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. Unfortunately, that only lasted for, I believe, 6 minutes of actual game time when they were all on the floor together. And because right on the first possession of the third quarter, or the second possession of the third quarter, Paul George going for a rebound, hyperextended his left knee and had to leave the game. Just sucks for Paul George, man. You know, all those knee injuries. And he missed the start of the season due to a bone bruise in that left knee. And now he's going to miss some time with the hyperextended left knee. It's just super unfortunate. You know, it's kind of this might be a contest this season between the Pelicans and the Sixers on who has the more unlucky season. I think the answer is probably the Pelicans because, I mean, dude, your top 9 players all missing like this game, and essentially they've been injured at, you know, at least 1, 2, or 3 players at least the whole season so far. So I think it's definitely the Pelicans. But for Philadelphia, just sucks to see. I hope Paul George gets better soon. You know, a guy with so many of those leg injuries, now older in his career. You know, it's just tough to see. But as for the basketball game, another kind of rough offensive game for the Sixers for the most part here. The Grizzlies did a great job defensively, and their 2 main guys played very well with John Morant still out. It was Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. That really were very, very good tonight on the offensive end. Jackson, 25 points, 8 of 15 from the field, got to the line a whole bunch. Desmond Bane all around, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, hit 5 threes, 5 of 11 from the three-point line, and just did a great job. Knocked down 19 of 43 shots from beyond the three-point line, and everyone really chipping in. Only guy that really played that didn't make a three was Brandon Clark, and then Cam Spencer off the bench there. But for guys that are known to be good three-point shooters and legit in the rotation, everyone made a three. So they got everyone involved. They had 29 assists in this game, and another good win for the Memphis Grizzlies here. For the 76ers, I will say, obviously, you know, Paul George going down, it's just hard to find many bright spots right now for the 76ers. But the biggest bright spot, I think, for all Sixer fans out there are that Joel Embiid finally looked like himself. He had a great offensive game in this one statistically. He finally had over 30. He had 35 points and 11 rebounds, 10 for 21 from the field, 14 for 14 from the free throw line. He looked like himself out there on the offensive end, and his impact showed. His impact definitely showed there. So if there's anything, just great to see that Embiid finally played a very great game there. You know, the Sixers, they were down double figures for most of this one, but they made it close. Near the end of the game, the Sixers were trying to make one late push after the Grizzlies had a 19-point lead with just a little over 5 minutes remaining. The Sixers started making some shots. They had it down to 4 with like a minute remaining. Joel Embiid made a nice floating shot, and then there was just miscommunication there. Joel Embiid drove to the basket, threw the ball to the corner where Kelly Oubre was, but Oubre had started to cut to the basket, and it just lines crossed right there for the 76ers, and they lose this one to the Grizzlies. Philadelphia is now 2-12 on the season. Unreal, man, that they are 2-12 on the season. But like I said in the recap a day ago, or a couple days ago, they have a shot here over the next few games to try to gain some ground a little bit. They'll have some, easier games coming up, which will allow them to hopefully get some victories, because this team, with the talent that they have in the starting lineup, should be good, up there in the Eastern Conference for sure. Just the injuries have made it super tough. They finally did, though, score over 100 points in this game, which is definitely huge. They were, and Joel Embiid, again, played very well. Jared McCain had another 20-point game. They did decide to start Maxey and McCain together, which I like. So going forward here, if Paul George is out, Still have a decent starting five of Maxey, McCain, Oubre, I guess Caleb Martin, and Joel Embiid, if that's what they want to do. And that isn't bad, man. That isn't bad for the Sixers coming up here. They have the big 3-game homestand against Brooklyn, the Clippers, and the Rockets, and then 2 straight road games against Detroit and Charlotte. So this is a 5-game stretch where they could go 4-1 here to try to get back in the swing of things. This now their 5th straight loss of the season so far here. But great win there again for the Grizzlies without Ja Morant, and they're still playing well. Now 9-7 on the season. Playing some decent basketball there with their guys hurt as well. Next game, sticking in the Western Conference, the OKC Thunder defeated the Portland Trailblazers 109-99. And oh my goodness, was this a defensive battle? This was a low-scoring game for a large part of this one. Neither team could really get their shots to go down. Portland finishes the game shooting 40% from the field. OKC 9 for 31 from downtown. Besides J-Dub, no one really could get it going a whole lot from three-point land. J-Dub had an amazing game, had 30.7 rebounds, 8 assists. He's been incredible in that starting center position with all their centers being out. But one of them returned today. Isaiah Hartenstein played in his first game with the Thunder, making his debut there in Oklahoma City, and had one of the greatest Thunder debuts of all time in this game. He had 13 points, 14 rebounds, 5 of them on the offensive end, like we know Hartenstein to do. He had 3 assists and 4 blocks, playing 28 and a half minutes, and his impact was definitely there. You could see the crowd got all juiced up when he checked into the game. He immediately got a rebound off a missed free throw, saved the possession, gave the Thunder another possession, made one of his, patented floating hook shots that he made so popular there with the Knicks last season. Just great to see him back and what he can do for this Thunder team with their centers out. Now they have a legit center there. We'll see how long it takes for them to integrate him into that starting lineup with Chet Holmgren out there for a while. I'm sure that they don't want to be running J-Dub at the 5 for all these regular season games, even though it has been working out great for him individually and for the team in some games. Having Hartenstein there is certainly going to help. There was one play, man, where he was even showing off his playmaking ability. He's an underrated passer for a big man. You guys probably saw this. If not, he had a play where he had a behind-the-back pass to, I think, Aaron Wiggins. I don't remember who the players were, but he had a behind-the-back pass. Guy missed a layup. He got the rebound, Hartenstein did, threw another behind-the-back pass for an even more wide-open layup, and the guy still missed it. So, Hartenstein really just looked comfortable out there. It did not look like he had not really played a regular season game with them before. And the Thunder, despite this being close down the stretch, they made the plays down the stretch, man. Portland did not make this easy whatsoever. This was right. This was a 1-point game with 5 minutes remaining, and then the Thunder outscored the Blazers the rest of the game 22-12 to pull out with the victory, led by as many as 12 in that final stretch there. And they just had a great game there. So shout out to OKC. Also, Alex Caruso, the other big addition with Oklahoma City, had a great offensive game. We know what he can do defensively, and he's been adding that to OKC to already an amazing defense. That's why they've been so historic this season. But Alex Caruso, if there's anything you could say, he had not been good offensively. His shooting numbers going into the game, he was 29% from the field and 19% from 3. Just not good offensive numbers, but was doing it all defensively. This game looked great, driving to the basket in transition, hit a three-pointer in this game, had 17 points in 15 minutes. So he looked great offensively out there. Hartenstein, obviously, just big-time performances from those two guys, and excited to see what this team can really be when they are all fully healthy, because so far, they have been spectacular. Next up, the Houston Rockets. Another big-time victory, defeating the Indiana Pacers 130-111. A game where really everyone, once again, had a very good game for the Rockets. At least a good impact, even if they didn't shoot the best. Şengün led the way with 31 and 12. Jabari Smith Jr., 23 points, 8 rebounds. You see, when he has high-scoring games, it's usually efficient because the Rockets aren't getting him a whole lot of looks offensively. But when he makes them, he's going to score a lot of points. Van Fleet was good in this one. Off the bench again. I mean, look, Amen Thompson and Tari Eason are just fantastic off the bench, man. They have great. Tari Eason had 6 steals in this game. My goodness. Thompson was a plus 14, Eason a plus 15. Like Fred VanVleet was a plus 30 in this game. I mean, they just have done a great job so far this season. Now 6 games over 500 in this one. For the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, another bad scoring game, has 4 points, 1 for 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. It is unfathomable what is happening to this guy shooting the basketball. He was a negative 28. I mean, the Pacers are just not going to win games and be this consistent basketball team if that's the output they're getting from someone who's supposed to be an all-star superstar and their best player. So they're going to absolutely need him to be better. They got a random 24-point performance from Quentin Jackson, who's kind of been floating around the league the last few seasons. We'll see if that turns into anything. But overall, man, just a disappointing start to the season for the Indiana Pacers, man. Now 3 games below 500, 6-9 on the season. Luckily, the East has been, just not that great. They're right now the 10th seed. They're right there in that play-in tournament. But man, it's been rough. It's been rough for the Pacers so far this season. Just been so inconsistent. But Houston Rockets, man, continue to impress. 8-2 in their last 10 games, 6 games over 500. Like I said, continue to be one of the most fun teams to watch in the league. And they were wearing their cool City Edition jerseys, kind of classic uniforms there. So a lot of Rockets legends were in attendance. Kenny Smith was there. Hakeem Olajuwon, I saw on the broadcast. Even their old play-by-play announcer who had been calling their Rockets games for 42 years or something. He was in the booth chopping it up with the broadcasters during the blowout. So just a fun time right now in Houston right now. And it's definitely great to see for the Rockets because I haven't gotten it a whole lot over the last few seasons. Final 3 games, the Golden State Warriors blew out the Atlanta Hawks 120-97. Warriors completely clamped up the Hawks. Atlanta shooting just 33% from the field. No one in this game shot over 50% from the field. It was well spread out offensively with the shooting for Atlanta. Just nobody could really get it going. They shot 12 for 46 from 3. Even the free throws weren't going in. Had 17 turnovers in this one. Because there were so many missed shots, they grabbed a bunch of rebounds. They had 21 offensive rebounds, 65 boards for the game, but the possessions, it really didn't matter because they kept turning the ball over and just the Warriors just completely clamped up, man. They've been so impressive, man. I'm in a few episodes of the full Run in the Paint podcast, we'll probably do a contender or pretender segment. Still unsure a little bit about the Golden State Warriors, but performances like this, when you see what they can do defensively, I mean, completely clamp up a Hawks team that has been playing some decent basketball as of late. It really shows you what they can do. Andrew Wiggins, 27 points on an efficient 12 for 17. It's been great to see him have a bounce-back season after a couple kind of rough ones there for Golden State over the last few years. I mean, his scoring isn't crazy at 15 points per game, but he just is a lot more efficient and is having more of that impact like he had in his all-star season when the Golden State Warriors won the championship back there in 2022. And, of course, Steph Curry, efficient himself. Trace Jackson-Davis had a double-double. There's contributions all throughout the lineup. That's usually what you get with the Golden State Warriors this season when they get victories. Next game here, the New York Knicks traveled to Phoenix and defeated the Suns. High-scoring game, 138-122. Defense was completely optional in this one, especially for the Phoenix Suns, because the Knicks were getting great looks on so many possessions, man. They shot 58% from the field, 49 from 3, and 90 from the line. And so many of the looks were just wide open. I mean, it's so easy to shoot that great of a percentage when you're getting so many great looks. Jalen Brunson, he loves those rims in Phoenix, man, at the Footprint Center. That's kind of what I was alluding to with the Dallas Phoenix Game 7 there I was talking about a little earlier. Every former Mavericks player that goes back into that building that was on that team just shoots so well in that building. Brunson, last season he had 50 points, was 9 for 9 from three. This game, he makes his first 5 threes, hits 7 of 11 for the game, has 36 points and 10 assists. And Karl-Anthony Towns, his sidekick, had 34 points and 10 rebounds. Had a great game, was very impressed with his aggression, how he was attacking the basket and finishing. His finishing ability has been off the charts so far this season. And Josh Hart, again, having another great game, a double-double, 19, 11, and 6. Just a good solid victory for the New York Knicks coming in against a decimated Phoenix Suns team who have now lost, I believe, 5 straight games. Devin Booker had 33 in this one. Royce O'Neal hit 5 threes. Nurkic, finally had a good offensive game, but again, defensively, this team just doesn't really have it that much. I mean, they were just giving the Knicks just wide open looks. The Suns had to be better in these games here, and definitely getting concerned with the losses that they're picking up now after such a great start to the season. Now 5-game losing streak, and they're currently in a 3-way tie with the Clippers and the Grizzlies for 7th through 9th in the Western Conference. So, I mean, they've got to be careful here. Obviously tough with Beal and Durant both injured, but they've got to find a way to try to get a couple victories coming up here. This was the second game of a 6-game homestand. They play the Lakers not until next Tuesday. They have a long break where they can hopefully get Beal and Durant back before they play this game. So they have a full 5 days of rest. That's unbelievable. But then right into a back-to-back with the Lakers and the Nets, then the Warriors and the Spurs. So maybe hopefully by that Lakers game, an NBA Cup game, they can have those guys back there and they can try to pick up some victories. And then the final game from the night, the LA Clippers defeated the Orlando Magic 104-93. Another defensive-minded battle. These are 2 of the better defensive teams in the NBA. And the Magic 6-game winning streak comes to an end in this one. And I will say one of the big reasons why the Magic's run went so long was because they would find a good 5, 6, 7-minute stretch where they would completely clamp up on their opponents and not allow any baskets. The script was flipped in this one. The Clippers, this wasn't a stretch. It was a good 8-minute stretch from the 8-minute mark in the third quarter on, where the Magic just could not get baskets to go in. I want to see what the run was exactly here. I believe it was a 16-2 run or something like that. I believe they went on a 16-2 run to extend their lead in the third quarter, and the Magic just couldn't get anything to go. It's not like the Clippers weren't forcing many turnovers. They were just forcing the Magic into tough contested shots. They played great defense in Orlando. Again, they've been playing great basketball, but going up against a great defensive team, just hard to really match with their scoring when, your guys are just being so limited in this type of atmosphere here. So good solid win for the Clippers. Now quietly 9-7 on the season, man. They're hanging around in there. If they can get Kawhi Leonard back, and I know that's tough to kind of predict there because he always seems to be injury prone, and we haven't heard anything really on his potential return. If he can get healthy, this team, you never know, man. You never know because they're great defensively and they just hang around in games. They're a tough team, man. Definitely a tough out for sure. But those are all the games from last night. Now it is time to get to the MVP of the night. And with so many games going on last night, definitely a lot of performances to choose from. But in the end, got to give it to the Greek Freak for his 41-point performance against the Bulls. Absolutely dominating in this one, and then closing the show with not only his amazing ability to attack the basket, but his playmaking, getting his shooters good looks from the outside. So Giannis getting the MVP of the night. And then before we get out of here, always got to take a look at tonight's schedule. Only 4 games going on here tonight. The League Pass schedule: Timberwolves, Raptors, Jazz, Spurs, Magic, Lakers. The Magic right back at it again against the red-hot LA Lakers, looking to keep their winning streak going. And then on NBA TV, fun game in the Eastern Conference. A couple of young star point guards facing off as Detroit will visit Charlotte. That one at 7 p.m. on NBA TV. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content, leave a comment with your thoughts on all these crazy games. last night here. Your thoughts on how OKC could be now that they have Isaiah Hartenstein back. What do you think about the Sixers, man, at this point of the season now, 2-12, worst record in the NBA. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.